Oh, there we go. Right. Let's go with that. Let's do the intro again, Lee. Let's go back and do the intro. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Second Chance Comics with me, the Retro Chef, and him,
Nerdy Geezer.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Honestly, it come up resume plan.
Do you know what? It's like most things with StreamYard. The minute it plays up, you back out of it, you come back in, and all of a sudden the little gremlins have gone.
Yeah.
It's always the same. Like,
I know it's been dormant because I've not used it since before Christmas.
all I've heard watching YouTube is people complaining about StreamYard. It's doing all sorts of crazy shit at the moment. So, yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Well, I covered for you in the chat because they were like, Chef needs to get back in the swing of things. I was like, it's actually not him.
Yeah, I was trying. It kept saying to me, I don't understand why I will say resume because I haven't stopped my plan. Because if you stop the plan, like I was saying to you, I wouldn't be able to have all my backgrounds on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's working now. I've been away. I've been extremely busy. I bought a new house.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I'd have to put that. Yeah, so I am now moved. I now live in Epping, still in the Royal Borough of Essex, God's country, which is fantastic. I'm close to everything now, so it's really good. But I've just been so busy with work's been crazy, life's been crazy. Obviously, moving's. I don't recommend moving to anyone. I've moved with my missus about 4 times in all the time we've been together. And it's nuts when you think about how much stuff you have to move around. And it's only grown, like the amount of stuff I've got. Not just me, like the girls as well. Not 2 girls, but mainly me.
Well, the thing is, each time you move, are you moving into a bigger place?
Yeah, well, yeah, this time, so we move from...
You buy more stuff each time, didn't you?
So. Literally. But then the same stuff goes under the stairs, Lee. The same shit goes under the stairs, isn't it? Like you're never going to see again. I got Portugal and Czech Republic on.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So
what about that game earlier?
The game earlier was unreal.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a good game.
Yeah,
I kind of feel a bit bad for Georgia. I thought they did pretty good.
That group, so they're in this group.
Yeah.
With Czech and Portugal. I'm sure Portugal will go through.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming they will, and I'm assuming Turkey will. So the 13 could be Georgia, depending on. Like, I don't know many of the Czech players anymore from before. I knew quite a few before him. So literally loads is going on, guys and girls. So thank you for being patient.
Have you seen Marathon Gaming's last comment?
Mate, if your missus keeps wanting to move and you keep following her, she wants to move again, maybe take the hint, bro. Well, I'm not being funny. She did actually want to move. It was me that kind of pushed her because we're literally on the central line. Like my house backs onto the train line. So it just makes it easier for everyone. Even for me, if I go back into work into London, or if my missus goes back to work into London, my eldest daughter goes to university in Greenwich. Obviously, my youngest, Sammy, she's still at school, but she wants to go to acting school and stuff. So in London, so it makes more sense because the station's just around the corner. Yeah. So perfect really for that. So that's all good. But yeah, so lots going on. Still collecting. I haven't actually got any comics to show, which is terrible because this is second chance comics.
Well, that's all right. I've got plenty, mate. So
You've got plenty, so we're laughing. I've got a few bits and pieces that
I've also got a new Batman T-shirt as well.
I like the T-shirt, mate. I do. I've got a couple of my eldest daughter and my youngest. They bought me for Father's Day from Uniqlo. They're doing a really nice 40th anniversary Capcom collection of T-shirts.
Yeah,
and they bought me a Mega Man T-shirt, but I bought there's a Street Fighter one, and I bought the Monster Hunter one because the rest of them didn't have my size. And they're only like 12 quid. So Uniqlo have got some really nice Capcom 40th anniversary T-shirts, and they also got some cool Jujutsu Kaisen anime T-shirts and a few other ones. So, and they're quite reasonably priced as well for like they're decent T-shirt Uniqlo.
Yeah.
So yes, when you're talking about T-shirts, so yeah, I don't know what to say. It feels a bit strange to be.
Well, have a look through the chat, mate, because you ain't done that yet.
No, I haven't done that yet, mate. So yeah, so we got.
I feel like I'm having to steer you on this one.
You're gonna have to a little bit, mate. It's been so long. I'm out of touch. The king of the tubes is out of touch. Evening, Billy. Hope you're good, mate. We haven't tell you. Yeah, it's true. We was. Let's get back to swinging things. Yeah, you start gaming. We're doing, mate. StreamYard was playing up. Yeah, it was. Fair enough. Big up, chef. I wouldn't mind him standing over my grill, charring me some sweet corn, baby. Perv. Well, what soon there'll be some cooking with Mr. Zombie's house. Chef is back on tube. I just fell off my chair. True story. Stop Euros. This is more important. Well, yeah, I mean it's only Czech and Portugal. It's not like it's anything crazy. So yeah, got the everyone saying hello to everyone. Yeah, and then obviously who we got here? I feel like the only person who doesn't like football. No, mate, there's plenty of you nutters who don't like football out there, mate. So don't worry, there's plenty of you out there. Hobby Lodge is here. Did he get blown away in the wind? Bless him.
Yeah,
that was funny. These messages, mate. I only watch internationals. Yeah, a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, don't watch club football. They only watch when it's England or when it's Euro or a World Cup, in it. So
yeah,
can't wait to see the new digs, bro. Yeah, it won't be long. Like literally. So I was just saying to Lee, I'm going away in the beginning of July. I'm away for 3 weeks in Cyprus. And then when I get back, we'll start to get the house all finished. The house is painted. I was saying to Lee, my TV looks tiny. My living room is massive. It's crazy, really. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But I need a bigger TV definitely now because it just looks lost in here. So that won't be too long. But yeah, no, so Lee, I'm going to put it on to you, mate. If I can remember how to do it. Here we go. I got it. And you can show us some of your wares, dear chap.
Well, I was thinking I might start with what I picked up yesterday, which was this.
Nice.
Which I did a 1 minute review of, and I thought I'd mention it because I watched it this morning. And for the most part, you can drop me back out to normal if you want.
Oh, 1 second. I've seen a donut.
Oh, right. For the most part, it's a good transfer. I mean, the thing is, when they go from when they put sync onto 4K, sometimes they can really make a mess of it. But they've done a pretty good job with the transfer. They've reduced like the grain in it, so it's smoother, clearer looking. They've not done what they've done with the James Cameron films, where people look like Play-Doh.
Yeah,
they've not done any of that. They've done it properly. They haven't used AI to do it. People's mouths aren't going onto their cheeks, sort of thing,
Oh god.
So they've done a good job in that respect, and they've also lightened it up a little bit so that because you remember on the VHS and DVD, the dark bits at times it was hard to see what was going on because they shot the film in a sort of monochrome style, so it was always meant to be very like all the colours are almost washed out and it's very dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and of course, he wears dark. So, in places when you watched it on the old DVD and that, it was difficult to see all the time what was happening. Now, what they've done is they've done what they do with most 4Ks. They've brightened it up just a little bit so you can see. However, that does cause a problem because when they've done that, they've also, I'm guessing, used some sort of filter. And there's a few iconic shots in it which I felt didn't look right. It took me out of the film. Right. So I don't know if you remember the iconic shot after he's put the makeup on
Yep.
And he walks towards the window that he got pushed out of, and the crow lands on his shoulder, and then the lightning goes, and you see half his face light up, don't you?
Yeah.
It's the iconic shot, isn't it? Right. But on the original, it's like bright white as the lightning goes, and you see his face like pure white, don't you, down one side, and
You
then
do.
the other side shadowed, right? Well, whatever they've done, it now looks a sort of grey, bluish colour when it does it, which took me out of the film. I was like, I don't like that. That don't look as good. But it doesn't just end there, right? So obviously during the film, like I said, it was shot in a monochrome style, but the only colour you really had was reds when the enemy's on screen, because it was shot like a comic book movie, you know, or like a comic book. But the other thing was the fires. They made the fire look bright, right?
Yep.
Well, whatever they've done, the same thing that they've done to the lightning, it's kind of done it to the fire as well.
Oh.
And it really notices. You remember when he's killed T-Bird, and then he does the crow on the floor with the lighting fluid, and then he lights it. It doesn't look as bright orangey red fire look. It looks sort of almost dampened down in colour. It don't look as bright.
That. Yeah.
So that kind of took me out of it. But to give another positive, the sound's really good. The sound is cracking, really good. Yeah.
It's something completely different, but I bought the Double Impact Blu-ray, okay, the Van Damme movie, and it wasn't a 4K restoration, obviously, but they kind of HD it, and there's loads of scenes in that where he just looks completely off in it, you know, like especially the beginning where Chad and Alex's parents get killed. There's lots of like flashing where the shotgun's getting shot, and it just looks shocking. So I can only probably put it down to the unfortunate film, the cameras they were using back then, and when they've tried to modernize it, it just obviously don't work. Unfortunately, it's just not going to in it. You know, you can't. People say, "Oh, it's better restoration." I get that, but sometimes it doesn't come across right.
There's a similar problem like with the Aliens film, and I'm not on about with the 4K one because that's because they've used AI and they fucked it up. But the Blu-ray one had an issue as well because with the Blu-ray one, although the picture looks clearer, it's got like a blue tinge to everything.
Yeah, you see,
everything just looks turquoise all the way through it.
And that is the problem with these films when they bring them up, unless like I don't know if you've seen Lee Rocky IV. The obviously you've seen Rocky IV, but the Rocky IV I don't know what it's called. It's a re-release where there's loads more extra scenes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
and when you watch that, it's like you're watching a film now. But because I'm guessing, like obviously they were using Panavision cameras or using whatever they were using back then. The restoration or the restoring of it, it looks really polished. You know, Rocky IV had that real, like, I can't explain, like, real good looking movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's really highly polished. Whereas Crows, obviously, like you said, is a very dark film. You know,
well, I mean, like where they've lightened it up in the dark places. Do you remember the bit with the big fight in the when he goes into the room where they're all sitting at the table? You remember?
Up in the club or wherever.
Right now, if you remember in the original, it's quite difficult to see what's happening, and you can only really see properly when that strobe's going because there's kind of a strobe light going in there.
Yeah.
But now when you watch it, you can actually see every single move he's making. Like they've done a good job when it comes to that. Yeah. So
I remember. I don't know if this is true, Lee, so you might know better. Well, I'm sure you would. I remember reading or hearing this when I was younger that the film they made it purposely the way they made it so that you could watch it in a black and white TV, like so that so even though when you watched it in a black and white TV, you wouldn't lose any references, if that makes sense, because it's just the way it's filmed. I don't know if that's probably bollocks, but it sounded cool at the time.
There probably is some truth to that because one of the reasons they did it monochrome was because the comic book was black and white. Right.
Yes, exactly.
And they actually did say that to them. They asked if they could do it in black and white, but the studio wouldn't allow it, which is why they did it the way they did. They monochromed it instead, right? you'll notice when you watch it, the only colours you really see in it are reds when the enemy's around. When the bad
Yep.
guys are on screen, you always see reds and the fire. But like I say, the problem is now with the fire, where they've used whatever filter they've used, it just isn't as bright.
Mm.
I mean, even at the beginning of the film, remember when the girl's talking at the beginning and you see the camera panning over the fires on Devil's Night, right?
Yep.
Something about the fire kind of looked a bit weird as well. Like, I never noticed because it's CGI, right? And
Yep.
I never really noticed it as bad as you do now. Like, you can really see it CGI, and like early 90s CGI.
Yeah.
So, but that you can forgive. It's an old film. These things happen. Like, you can kind of forgive that. Like I said, the real thing for me was that iconic shot with the face when that lightning goes on the original. It's bright white, and his face just lights up down one side, and that's when you first see him, and you're like, "Whoa, that's creepy,"
Yeah, no, it's
It took me out of it when I saw it on that, and it's like a bluey grey. I was like, "Whoa, what have they done now? You've ruined that iconic shot. What have you done?"
Yeah.
So I've got to be honest. Although I have got this now on 4K, I will be keeping the DVD and all because I'm like, I want the DVD still because I like that shot. It looks better on the original. So
definitely.
We've got quite a few people talking in the chat.
You got Rampaging Talk.
Yeah.
Or the Rampaging Turk, as another YouTuber said, which was hilarious when I was talking.
I think he's talking about the game earlier, isn't
he? Yeah. Evening or retro. How are we doing? You all right, fella? I only have one 4K, which is WandaVision. With the TV show. Yeah, but the newer stuff doesn't look. It's not as easy to fuck up when it comes to transferring it, obviously, because the older stuff's a bit more time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, like the most recent ones, like with the James Cameron ones, them ones are really bad because they used AI, so they messed them right up. But...
Well, I haven't bought the 4K Aliens, okay? Because
don't.
There you go.
I've seen shots of it, mate. Honestly, you got Vasquez walking in the background, and her mouth goes from here to her cheek. Like, you don't want that. Like, honestly, don't buy it. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's coming down. I mean, like, I've got Half Target in 4K. The Van Damme one. I got that somewhere. I've got a few bits here, but I haven't got that one. A few people knew. Hello, Adso. Adso, we're doing Gads. Rampaging Talk is here. Bless him.
It's not the only thing I've picked up on disc that's comic book related. I've got this the other week because Amazon had a deal on it, Blade Trilogy on Blu-ray. I'll tell you what, now they've done a really good job with this. This looks beautiful.
Film, I love Blade.
Honestly, it looks beautiful in HD. It really does. Like, don't get me wrong, the first one, I mean, obviously you still see the limited CGI of the time, but I'd say it notices less for some reason. I don't know if they've maybe they did something to it when they put it to HD. It doesn't quite look as bad as it did on DVD, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Blade 2, however, looks really good. I mean, that looks spot on this.
Blade 2. Blade 2 is probably my favourite.
Yeah, right? It is mine. It is mine.
Because I love the Blood Gang, whatever they're bloody called. Well, anyway, the ones that are after like they've been put together to attack Blade, but now they're
working.
Blood Pack. There we go.
Yeah.
Because you've got Donnie Yen in there, who only says barely any words in it, like maybe 2 sentences in the whole film, or 2 words.
He don't say anything. He doesn't speak. He's meant to be mute, isn't he? Yeah, he's meant to be mute. He can't speak.
I thought he spoke. Then one.
No, anyway. He does. Don't you remember? He does sign language at one point. He does.
Oh yes, sorry, yes. But anyway, yeah. He don't say fuck all. And he obviously he should have been someone that should have fought Blade from the beginning. Out of all of them, he would have done anyway. It doesn't matter.
Well, they actually had to tone down Wesley Snipes' moves, didn't they? Because, or should I say, they had to turn down his moves and so that he didn't outshine Wesley Snipes with a sword.
Well, Donnie Yen is unreal.
Yeah. They told Donnie Yen he had to do less so that it didn't outshine Wesley Snipes because, as we know, he's better with weapons than he is. So
Donnie Yen is to me is how people would have perceived Bruce Lee in terms of the movies and everything, because he's transitioned from a 20-year-old to a 30-year-old, a 40, he's gone throughout everything, and he's still at 63, I think he is, 64, still able to kick most people's asses and still look good at doing it. So, and I think that's where probably Bruce would have been, I mean, obviously more famous, but I mean, in terms of how was, I mean, Yip Man, I mean, I'm sure you've seen Yip Man. I mean, they're probably some of my favorite Donnie Yen movies. I mean,
I'm trying not to talk about it too much, otherwise this is going to turn into a movie stream. And
I know it's going to get that's another stream. That's on.
Obviously, I've seen Ip Man because that's about Wing Chun, which was the martial art I did. So yeah, I've seen them.
On my face, but that would have been good to see more in that. But Blade was, I really enjoyed Blade. I'm looking forward to the new film.
I'm not.
Yeah, only because it's Blade. I also want to see Blade. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. But
the problem is you're not, though. Have you not heard? Like, part of the reason that it hasn't gone ahead was because they was going to do a bait and switch with it, weren't they? They were going to. The story originally, what they was going to do was they're going to have Blade in it at the start, and then it gets transferred over to his daughter, sort of thing. It's like a passing of the torch. So they was going to do that same thing that they're doing with everything at the moment, where, oh look, it's a Blade movie, and it's not about Blade, sort of thing, you know.
So there's so much thing about it, like what is happening, because they've apparently gone through 2 scripts, 2 whole stories.
Oh, there's been way more. It's had loads of rewrites. This has been going on for 5 years. They've had loads of rewrites.
Personally, there's no reason why Snipes couldn't have carried on.
Well, I mean, if you were going to do a passing of the torch, they should have really had Snipes come back. You know, have it that he's got old and he's passing it on. You know, but
he still could have. Me personally, because the way the comics are with Blade, it's not all about martial arts. It's not all about martial arts in the comics anyway. The original story, it's more that he's just a big bastard.
Well, in the original look, he had an afro.
Yeah. He did, and he was a lot more biker gang look.
Yeah, well, at one stage he was kind of 70s looking as well. He had like flares.
Yeah, it was more. Then obviously they modernised it for Blade the movie, which was great. Anyway, I love Wesley Snipes of it anyway, with the tattoos on the neck and that, which I thought was like awesome. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing Blade. Hopefully, we get a good Blade. I'm sure we won't.
For me, there'll only ever be one Blade, and that's Wesley Snipes. And I've just noticed a while ago, Super Nintendo. Genuinely loved the Blade films at a time when comic book films were still a bit, Well, this is when they were first starting out, really, wasn't it? Blade was really what set it off. People say Iron Man, but really it was Blade.
So
you had Shadow somewhere along the lines as well, didn't you? The Shadow come out.
Yeah. So the Blade was the first mainstream Marvel movie.
Yeah,
you had a few straight to TV ones. There was a Captain America movie.
Yeah, that was terrible.
TV. Yeah. You had a few other little ones, but Blade was the first Marvel movie, and what a one to pick.
Yeah,
when you think about it now, because it came. Because Spawn was 96, 97, maybe 95.
Oh, I can't remember. I've got Spawn,
and I love Spawn. I know it gets. I know Michael J. White.
I like it as well. I do like it as well.
That's a great film. Great story.
Spawn's an interesting character, to be honest. I mean, he's very similar to Blade in one respect. You know, he's with Blade, he's half vampire and he hates vampires, and then you got Spawn who gets brought back by the devil and then goes on attack against the devil. So they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Oh, look, Punisher, Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, that's actually, you're very right, Super Nintendo. That is the first. Is it actually? Because I'm thinking.
I don't think it was before Blade, was it?
Yeah, that was 91, 92, mate. That was early. That film was
which
early.
one are you thinking of? You think of the Dolph Lundgren one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it is. But
that's 91, 92, innit?
Yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, that one, was Marvel even involved with that? I don't know if there was there?
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even lie to you. Without Googling it, because I don't remember, like, obviously it's Marvel, but what what, like, how is it perceived? Because I can't even remember. Because
Oh, I don't know. It's a long time ago.
back then, I mean, we're talking fucking movies here, Lee, but we're gonna have to talk about something.
Well, they are comic related, so we're all
True,
right.
because the ones that I always watch, mate, was like the Flash TV movies, and then you had obviously
yeah.
Because I used to love them because you had Deadly Nightshade, Return of the Trickster, and then 95, 96, The Shadow come out, which me and you both love The Shadow.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. That film, for its time, is awesome. I love that film. I don't care what anyone says.
The animatronics they used on the dagger. Do you remember, like, the teeth on the dagger? And that?
Yeah. I like. You watch it now, it's like cheese. Yeah. But The Shadow is such a cool character. Like the comics, like I showed them.
Well, the thing is, if it wasn't for The Shadow, you probably wouldn't have had Batman, because a lot of what The Shadow was incorporated into Batman.
So, if the story's correct, the story's true. Bob Kane and Bruce Timm listened to The Shadow on the radio back in the day, like back in the 40s or whenever it was, the 50s or whatever. And that's how they come up with the idea, in essence.
Yeah. Well, you've only got to look at it, right? I mean, there's several poses where the Shadow's got his cape up like this, and who else does that? Batman. You know, like
it's all that.
Consider subtle influences. Yeah.
See, look, Marvel owned Red Sonja. I've got loads of people talking about Punisher. Marvel owned Red Sonja. Red Sonja film came out, even though Marvel had no. Yeah, you see, because I know back then, a lot of the Marvel film was it. What's the score, Si? It's 0-0, Si. Si's asking what the score. A lot of films were just kind of like given out for a movie or whatever. There wasn't really Marvel didn't really give one about it. Really, I don't know what changed. Punisher was filmed in Essex. Chef's Auntie Shed. Yeah, fucking hell. The one with Thomas Jane. What can I say about the Thomas Jane one? Other than it being pretty shit, I liked you had the Russian in it. You had
that was Kevin Nash, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I thought was awesome. I liked that part of it. I liked the beginning part was quite interesting, where you had Frank undercover. I thought that was quite interesting. That was good. I thought I started quite well, and then it got to the family bit with Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider, Rob Schneider was his dad. Is it Rob Schneider, the Blue Thunder guy? Jaws. Yeah. Sorry, Rob Schneider. I always think of Juice Bigelow.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, it's definitely Schneider.
Yeah. Anyway, the Blue Thunder guy, Jaws. That bit was wicked. When they killed all his family, I thought, wow, this is pretty impressive. It started good. His wife and his kid got run over. Yeah. And then it kind of went.
It's not Rob.
Who is it?
Hang on, I'll let you know in a minute.
It's not Rob Schneider.
Yeah, Rob Schneider is who you said. It's Roy Schneider.
Roy Schneider, sorry.
Well, Roy Scheider, not Schneider. It's a slight difference. Yeah, you was right. The other one's Bigelow, isn't he? Yeah. So anyway, go on.
I like the beginning. I thought the beginning was really cool. Then it got stupid when he moved into that house with the neighbours, and I was just like, yeah, this is shit. And then John
Travolta, the weird guy with the piercings and all that, isn't you? Yeah.
But, anyway,
well, to bring it back to something that's actually pretty good. I picked this up. It's an Arrow film.
Yeah, I need to get this.
It's actually a documentary called Future Shock, and as you can probably tell, I'll hold that up so you can see the characters there. Australian Dog, you've got Judge Dredd, you've got Rogue Trooper here.
Yeah, Rogue Trooper.
Basically, it's all about 2000 AD. It's the history of 2000 AD. I really enjoyed this. I'll tell you what, I never realised how many famous comic book artists started off at 2000 AD. They
got quite an impressive list, when you think about it.
Yeah. But it's really good to watch because, they were going to why they did 2000 AD the way they did, and how it was all influenced by punk, and all that sort of stuff. And it was all sort of very anti-establishment, which was the whole point of the comic, And you can see that it bleeds out onto the pages when you read 2000 AD. You can see that that's what they were going for. They were there to shock people, for starters. I mean, like for example, when you look at Judge Dredd as a character, I mean, he kind of comes across like a bad guy, doesn't he? In the way he does things, right?
He don't smile. He don't smile, so straight away he's like he's a baddie anyway.
Well, it's not even just that. Like, he's very quick to just shoot people, isn't he? Like, so and
the judge.
That was all having a sort of dig at the police at the time and the way things were back then. That's what that was all about. But it's very eye opening. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a few things when I watched it, I was like, well, I already worked that out. But it's good, like hearing the stories and like I say, like a lot of very famous comic book artists were like stolen from there by the Americans, and they ended up working on things like Batman and Spider-Man and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, now 2000 AD is still going, but it's not owned by a British company now. It's American, I think, or Canadian.
Oh,
yeah.
Talking about British, I don't know if everyone else's wives and old adult girls in the house been watching Bridgerton. So my lot have been watching. I'm not watching it. They're watching it, and I think I said in our group chat, I was like, you know what? There's a zombie movie that's based around Bridgerton times, and my wife was like, really? I was like, yeah. So, and I was saying, I drove special to get it. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It's in a red case. I haven't watched it yet. I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but we're going to watch it because I thought I'll wind them up because I told them, yeah, it's just like Bridgerton. It's the same. So Pride and Prejudice, Zombies. It's got Matt Smith's in it, Lena Headey, whatever her name is.
Did that start off as a comic then?
Maybe.
Yeah. See, I knew it.
There's that.
Sidetracked again.
This started off as a comic. Vampire Knight.
Okay.
It's a manga.
Yeah. Manga. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's a manga. I've not seen this. This was in my local charity shop, so I picked it up. If it's any good, I'll buy it. It must
How much?
50p, sir.
Oh, bargain.
So I was like, you know what? For 50p,
yeah, that's a bargain, mate.
I don't know how good it is. It's a 12, so it won't
definitely a region 2, yeah.
Yep, region 2. Oh, region 2.
Yeah, good.
They're all good. So yeah, I don't know how good it is, but anything vampire, I was like, well, you know what? And it's labeled manga, which a lot of DVDs weren't labeled manga back then. Like DVD, there was just some, obviously. But
yeah, I think
newer
it depends
ones,
on which ones. Yeah,
the older ones, like I've got a couple of other anime, manga, comics, games, not labeled manga, but they're new. So yeah, so I'll give that a whirl. I'm not sure how good or bad it is. What have I pressed here? Two great manga, one great manga, one great anime. Because for me, and like for you, Lee, I'm of the age where anything old school anime is manga, whereas my kids, no, daddy, manga's the comics, anime is the TV show. I'm like, no, it's
not. Guyver was manga. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Wicked City was manga. Street Fighter 2 was manga. Like, you know.
So the last couple of years, I've got into this particular anime because this is newer, right? It's quite good, Lee. If you've not seen it, it's worth a watch. It's Bleach.
Oh, do you know what? That's one I've seen. Like, I've not seen the game, but I have seen bits of the series. It's something I've wanted to get into.
It is good. It's
samurai based, if I remember right, isn't it?
Yeah. This is like a hack and slash game.
Yeah.
This is like a £40 game. I went to a local video game shop called Retro Giant, which is in Romford. The owner's really cool. So I got this game from there. Bleach Soul Resurrection. There's a couple of Wii games, but yeah, this is like a 30-40 pound game. It's not. I say it's not cheap. It's not
Well,
expensive.
it's a series like animation series, but it's also a comic, I think, as well, isn't it?
So originally it was comics or
Yeah.
manga, and then it got into TV anime, and then
Yeah.
now it's video games. There is a live action movie, but it's pretty shit. I've seen it; it's pretty shit.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty. It's worth a watch, Lee. Even if you watch a couple just to see, it is quite good.
Yeah.
I've got one more, and then I'll let you show a few bits, mate. This one is probably one of my favourite mangas.
Right, Billy's just saying in the chat he's seen the first 3 or 4 seasons of Bleach. From what he saw, they were really good.
Yeah, there's quite there's like 8 or 10 series. I think it's quite a way on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth having a little watch, Lee. This particular game, I've been after for a little while, but I've not actively searched for it. But when I saw it, I thought I'd grab it. It's one of my favourite. I think it's one of the first mangas I saw. I must have saw it at the same time as Akira. And this is Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. This is another awesome manga. This is 18. This is another that's not hack and slash, but
Fist of the North Star's been around for ages.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star is such a cool franchise. I mean, yeah, this again from Retro Giant. I think this was 25 quid.
Okay, yeah.
So I was happy with that. I've got a few others, but you can crack on. So yeah, I'm well happy with them. Couple of nice anime mangas, recent and old.
Well, speaking of Japanese,
yes,
I mean,
mate.
I've showed this on my channel, but
Love
so technically this is an annual, but it's full of comic strips. Like,
oh, that's nice.
And they're really well drawn as well. Like, and it's the early look of Sonic in a lot of them. Like when he looked a little bit lighter blue, and
that's
cool.
cool.
I mean, but there's one in particular. See if I can find it. Where is it? There's one that looks proper old school. Like when you first saw Sonic.
Yeah.
I think it's this one. Hang on, let me just double check. So I know there's one. I mean, this is what I also like. Look, you got like all the old games like Mega Drive and all that, like in the middle. But most of it is like comic strips. And here we go. Yeah. So this is like probably one of the earliest sort of looks for Sonic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's really well drawn. Like, so I've got that. That came out of a comic shop. That was something silly like £1 or something.
Yeah.
And then I've got this one.
Oh, look at that. Love it.
And the funny thing with this one, it's not got a date on it, if you notice. There's no year. Normally you get a year, don't you, on annuals?
Yeah.
Yeah, no year on this. So, and again, when you look inside, you've got some, and that's proper old school sort of comic book art.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this bit here, the colours that they've used and the way they're drawn, very old school, isn't it? Like
it is. Scott's put Marathon Gamer. And if you've got the inside pages, Lee, to say what year it was.
Do you know? I think I did look last time because, like I said, I did show these on my channel. The problem is my eyesight these days is terrible. I can tell you who this used to belong to.
Okay.
David Crompton used to own this, apparently.
Oh, he lives 2 doors away from me.
Oh, here we go. Annual 1989. So that's 89, that one.
Oh, wow.
I didn't notice that someone's name was written in it, though. It actually literally says this book belongs to, and then his name. So
35 years ago.
So that one's out. Let's see what Sonic is. I mean, obviously, this has got to be 90s.
Sonic must be early 90s, isn't it? 91.
And you can tell it's 90s because this one's £1 dearer than the other one. 91. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, they were a nice little find, quid each.
Yeah.
Mrs. picked me up, them ones. So, but this one, I think this one you'll agree, for a charity shop find is probably the best for money. Quite a thick hardback.
Dr. Doom is, to me, one of the most underrated villains or one underrated characters in the Marvel Universe. Hands down.
Dr. Doom should have been, I think, before Thanos.
I think what I would say is I think they peaked too quick. They went for the big guy. Whereas if it had been a steady incline, like Doom, because to me the next one really now you can't go to Doom. They are gonna, but the next one's Galactus after Thanos. Really, he's the next big one, isn't he? Out of all the ones they've had, but Doom is such a cool character. You know, from Latveria, got their own. You know, he's a part of the Monarch, so he can't be arrested. It's a great story. Like his whole story is awesome.
Yeah, he's a great character. I mean, this, like I say, I mean, you can see how thick it is. 50 pence in a charity shop.
Bargain.
And it's hardback, as you can see. And it's a collection of Prisoners of Doctor Doom and Books of Doom.
He's actually, you know what? He's actually in some universes. He's very feared. Even the Hulk fears him.
Well, the thing is, he's intelligent as well, though, isn't he, Doctor Doom? That's the problem. Like,
yeah,
he's not stupid. He's very intelligent, and that's what makes him more threatening. That's the thing.
Yeah,
and also, of course, he's a psycho. So,
yeah. You showed Thundercats, so I'm going to show something that is proper.
I bet I know what you're going to show. I bet.
You reckon? This is I don't know actually if you know this. This is well nostalgic. This was got bought for me for my birthday by my two girls. They bought me a couple of games, but this is one of them. This was on my list. Okay, I haven't played it yet. I don't know how good it is, but as soon as I saw the name, as soon as I saw the title, I was like, I need this. It's Inspector Gadget, mad title.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Visually on the back, the graphics look pretty cool, man.
It looks like Wii graphics to me.
Yeah, it's yeah. It probably will. We've got to come with a couple of stickers. God, Inspector Gadget was the bomb, mate. Got a nice little poster. I don't know how good it is. We'll find out. So yeah, that was massive, for us back in the day. Like I always used to wonder what Mad Claw looked like because you never saw him, obviously, did you? You just saw the hand.
Yeah.
Dr. Claw? Dr. Claw? No,
it was just Claw, wasn't it? That's all he was called.
Was it? Yeah,
yeah. Just Claw.
So, and obviously, what was her name? Not it was Amy. Wherever her name was, she had a Apple Watch. She used to talk to
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? When you look at it, you think like all that time ago when you watch that, it's like, oh wow, look at the tech they've got. And it's like, yeah, it's an Apple Watch. Like it's kind of like with Knight Rider, you get the same thing, don't you? Talking to the car. It's like, it's an Apple Watch.
Penny. I think Penny.
Yeah.
Another quick one. I always like this story, this game, this franchise, was spawned from so many different movies, other comics, and it's just grown throughout the years. I think I've got the HD remixes of these on the PS3. I think they're called HD Classics on the PS3. But I also got Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection,
right?
PS5. Just the way they're drawn, they're so like comic-y, anime, manga.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got a comic influence. You can see that.
So I've got that. I haven't played these versions yet. I'm not sure how much, if they're how updated they are or what the major thing. I mean, the best thing about it, and I always talk about this, is when you got to speak to Meryl, her code is on the back of the box still, because you need that code. Because you got to talk to her, you don't know what her code is, and he says to you, it's on the back of the box. What fucking box? It's on the back of the box. So yeah, so go on, Lee. What else you got to show, brother?
Well, this one's quite a stack because these came from the retro realm. So Scott had these come in, and I was like, I'll put them aside for us, mate. And if you've watched my revival vid, you would have already seen these. But yeah, he had them put aside for me, and obviously I picked them up when I met up with him before revival. So I'm not going to go into prices because I don't think that's right because it's between mates. So but he did me a great deal on them. That's all I'm going to say. So first of all, we've got the Scorpion Dance,
Nice.
and it says Beyond the Call of Duty, not to be confused with the game.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, this has got to be, I guess I would say 90s. Looking at the artwork.
I would have thought so.
Hang on, I need to sort of sort out so I can put them down after I've showed you. So we've got that one. Then we go to the next one, which is Blind Justice. Oh,
Nice.
There you go. Not quite as thick, this one.
No.
But there are some really thick ones, and some of the artwork is fantastic. This one I really like. I don't know if you remember when they used to really emphasise the chin on Dredd, see?
It's cool, man.
Babes in Arms.
Yeah.
There's the back. Again, not quite as thick, Then we got, this one's an interesting name, Fetish.
Oh.
Yeah. They did used to love their weird titles, didn't they? Oh, the end's in the way there. There you go.
Cool, man.
Now, this is one of the thicker ones, Necropolis. This one's quite a big book, this one. I mean, look at the size of that.
Wow.
And I should point out that people probably can't tell from the camera, but obviously these are UK sizes. These aren't American. Like, these are huge. Like,
Yeah, they are massive.
if you notice, it's almost square because that's how our comics used to look. And obviously, Judge Dredd was British.
Yep.
Then we've got The Pit.
Pit.
Yeah. This one's quite a thick one too. Older style of artwork, I'd say, as well, if you look there.
Lee, did you like the Carl Urban Dredd movie?
Yeah, loved it. It's one of
good.
my favourite films. Love it.
Good.
Great film.
I've been waiting for years for like a 2 or whatever they want to call it with him, because his Dredd was, well, he had the chin, he looked so good as him.
Hang on 2 secs, because I've got a lot to say on that.
Cool.
And then we got Strontium Dog here.
Nice.
Obviously, he was a bounty hunter in 2000 AD.
Yeah.
Cracking artwork, and he was a good character too.
That's nice, mate.
But yeah, and again, another quite thick one. And I got these for a really good price. And as you can see, the condition of them is really good.
Look lovely, mate.
But yes, going back to what you were saying, yes, I loved it because, don't get me wrong, right? I even kind of loved the Stallone one to a certain degree. And I'll tell you why, because although Stallone is terrible as Dredd, there were a lot of things they got right in that film.
Yeah, I think it gets slated because what you just said, because it is a slide, but it's very comic booky. I know it sounds silly because it is Dredd, a comic book, but it's very good to capture certain elements of that.
Well, there was a lot of things they got right. I mean, for example, I thought the Lawgiver looked pretty good. The gun,
yeah.
The shoulder armor, the eagle, like on the thing, which is meant to obviously be the symbol for justice, isn't it? I thought that looked pretty good on the armor. And also like characters like the ABC warrior that you saw.
Yep.
I used to always get him mixed up. I used to say pineapples, but it ain't pineapples. It's the other one, isn't it? It's Frankenstein or whatever his name was. Was it Frankenstein? I'm sure it was. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on, I will double check it.
I haven't, I haven't watched a lot of Dredd in ages, because the new movie was not even based around any of the characters as such, if you know what I mean. It was just more about Dredd, whereas Sly, you had elements of different parts of Dredd's comics throughout the years.
Hammerstein, that was his name. Hammerstein,
yes.
That's who they based the ABC warrior off of.
Yeah.
But so there was bits they got right with it, but of course, the unforgivable thing was him taking the bloody helmet off. He should never have done that, and that's what I liked about Carl Urban. He wasn't arrogant enough that, people must see my face. He was like, no, I'm a fan of Dredd and I know what Dredd is and how he works. Yeah. He never takes his mask off, and so I'm not going to. No, and that's why it's a real shame that he's not got a chance to do that role again, because quite frankly, he was perfect. He even pulled the face, like his mouth, like where he's like that.
Yeah, he did.
All the way through the film, he's got that downward grimace.
Yeah,
You know?
for me, I didn't go to the cinema because I was like, dread. But when it come out in like to rent or whatever, buy, like I was straight on it, and I've watched it so many times since. I think it had a better second value rather than like face first in the cinema. I could be
Yeah,
wrong, but I think it
yeah.
got better as it aged. It got better.
Well, the
I
thing
think
was,
it's a great film.
it was meant to become a TV series because
Yes,
they planned to do Mega City 1, it was called.
yes,
And in the first episode, you was going to see Carl Urban as Dredd. And then
yes.
after that, it was going to go into other characters and other stories. At some point, there was talk that you would have eventually got to the Angel Gang,
Oh,
which,
nice.
which of course is Mean Machine and all that lot. So,
Yeah,
which is another thing they kind of got right, I think, in the Stallone one, because you can't lie. Mean Machine looked pretty on point. I think he looked pretty good.
yeah.
You know, even the way when he spoke, you could also imagine that was his voice in the comics. You know,
Mm.
where he's like, "I'm gonna get him, pa," like that voice. You know, you could picture it. You know,
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. So having them, getting those annuals or stories you've got, like some classic. Well, they look awesome anyway, mate. So
yeah. Well, my plan was I was going to try and read one before the stream, and also I've been collecting the Berserker, the Keanu Reeves one.
nice.
I was gonna read one of them and like give my thoughts on it, but I just ran out of time today. Didn't have enough
No.
time because I've got to get volume 3 because I've got volume 1 and 2. There's a third volume that's come out a few months ago, and now they've released a prequel to it, which I think is called Berserker Bloodlines. I think I need to
Okay.
get that as well, and I think that one is set, I think, around samurai times. I can't say for sure because, like I say, I haven't got around to reading them yet, but I'm pretty certain that the character's immortal in some sort of way.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, Bloodlines, that's what it's called. So that come out end of May. That's only been out like a couple of weeks, and I need to get that. So, yeah, but he looks like he's got like samurai armor on the front cover. So, yeah, and like I say, the impression I got is that he's meant to be some sort of immortal that's sort of gone through the ages.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I suppose in a lot of ways it's kind of similar, I suppose, to Wolverine.
Interesting.
You know, because Wolverine obviously, he heals himself. It's got to be something similar, isn't it? So, and also I suppose kind of similar to Highlander as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Highlander, another franchise that never got enough love.
I did for me. The first film was great.
The
rest of them can all fuck off, but the first film was great.
Have you seen the I don't know if you have. There's an anime. There's a manga, a Highlander movie. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I have heard. It's not bad. It's set in the future, like way in the future. You can't get it on Blu-ray. You can only get it on DVD. I've got it on video and DVD.
Yeah,
it's a good little watch. Oh, story. No, because my missus is just coming home with my eldest. I've got another. I picked this up because of the look. I picked this up because of the look. When I saw the cover, I was like, I don't know this one. And again, it looks very Metal Gear Solid. I haven't played it yet. It's not a new game, but it's called Left Alive. If you look at that, it looks very Metal Gear.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does look very Metal Gear. You're right.
Square Enix. During a devastating invasion, the 3 survivors must uncover the truth behind the war. Outnumbered, outgunned, and up against a powerful army of towering mechs. Their story unfolds as they explore the war-torn Nova Slava and search for salvation. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I saw the cover and I was like, yeah, sweet. I'll grab that because it looks very, let's say, very Metal Gear. I've got a few others that I picked up, which were mainly just a bit of housekeeping because I didn't realise. Well, one of them I never had. The other ones I've got on the PS3. So I managed just to grab them ones when I saw one of them. I haven't got all, and it's only because recently I got back into watching this genre. And this is something that you're likely.
Yeah.
I've still not played it, but I put it on the system. It's Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max. Yeah.
I've not actually played that on the PS4.
I heard good things about that game. Yeah. That's
Well,
always one I was surprised that they didn't turn into like an anime or something.
The closest thing to it is Road Avenger, which was very, very early.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah. I mean, you could probably say a lot of, probably lots of inspiration from animes from this or mangas from back.
Oh yeah, like the art style looks very similar. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to playing that because it's open world as well. There's lots. I'd say looking forward to that. I've got two others, both Sega games. Now, this one I haven't got. This is an old franchise that they've kind of tried to bring to the newer audience. I've not played it yet. I know it's got lots of good reviews. If it is as good as I've heard, I will get there's a nicer version of it. But it's Yakuza 0.
Right.
So this is the prequel to the other games. And then I picked up Yakuza 2 Kiwami, which is the I think this is the remake of number 2, but for the PS4.
Right.
Which I've already got on the PS3, I think it is. No, PS2. But this is like the HD modern version of it. So I want to go back. I need to play this one. Then I'll play number 1, which I've already got. And then I'll play Kiwami number 2 just to get back in it. But they were cheaply £5-6.
Yeah.
And they're not like they're expensive. And they're Sega as well. So Mr. Zombie would be happy. But I don't know if there's any comics of them. I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming it's just a storyline.
Yeah.
Game storyline. So.
Well,
yeah.
I've had I had a couple gifted to me by a guy at work. He's got a huge collection that he's trying to get rid of.
Oh, nice.
And he gifted me this one.
Classic Vision.
Yeah. And I mean, this one's
zooming that picture as well.
November. What's the year on that? It's very small. I can't read that. It's tiny.
80s. That's 80s.
I would say it looks like it might be saying 87, but I can't tell. Yeah, it's so small. My eyes ain't that good anymore. So there's that one, and then he gifted me this one. I've had to put it like this because I haven't had a chance to bag and board it, and I want to read it first. But he gave me this one as well.
What if? Now the what if storyline is something they've done.
We've redone it again, haven't they? Yeah.
On Disney Plus, and there's some really good ones. If you've not seen them, Lee, they're really worth watching. They actually are quite good. But the what if storyline is always, what if 4 is that? What if 4 didn't get his hammer? There's a couple of different ones.
What if 4 was a thrall of Seth?
Ah,
yeah.
There's some good ones. There's like,
I mean, the Vision one was what if Vision of the Avengers conquered the world?
So, yeah, because obviously the story they did in a bit of WandaVision where there was an evil Vision is something they done a long time ago in the comics where because he was like Ultron. Vision was very similar in essence of what he could do. He could take over, but he was the softer side of Ultron. Obviously, Ultron, who we got later on in other comics and stuff. That's cool, man. What ifs are cool. There's some really good what if comic storylines.
Yeah. Them ones I haven't I forgot I even had them. It's only because I looked down and just saw them there. I was like, oh yeah, I need to read them. So, because the good thing with them is they're like a one shot, aren't they? So you can just
exactly that.
Put it down, and that's it. You're not obligated to read loads of others.
Yeah, because like the newer ones on Disney Plus, there's like a what if Spider-Man was Doctor Strange of Earth 626, our Earth, if that's what our number is.
I'll tell you something else you would be proud of, but I can't show them now because they're put away. But I've started collecting Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
They're definitely something that will become expensive because
I've got a couple of the dear ones because I've got number one, the metallic one.
there's a couple. There's the main metallic one, which is the red one, but there's a couple of other variants that are very hard to get of that. But you need to try and get. I have to give you the numbers of some of the first appearances of Miguel O'Hara, which are in Amazing Spider-Man, because it's all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they're
They might-
pricey.
they're getting there, but they will only go up more. So where you can get them now, but it's definitely a storyline that's more adult.
Have you noticed? This is something we should talk about. Really, have you noticed Spider-Man? He's one of the comics that does tend to have more expensive comics in it. Have you noticed that?
Because he's one of the oldest.
Well, he's the
heroes.
most popular, isn't he? Really,
He's the
if
most
we're honest.
popular because you know what it is as well. He's more relative to people because he was a young kid.
Yeah, and
He's not
everybody,
new.
if you notice, everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Of course,
Everybody.
and he was always the face of Marvel.
Well, yeah, of course. Look, good example, right? Yeah, look, you know, right in the corner there. Look.
Yeah, he's always been the face.
Yeah,
and obviously Stan Lee. Well, that was his character. One of the ones he done.
well, him and what's his face? Ditko. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ditko. I feel sorry for Ditko because he gets forgotten about. I think
he does because
people always go, "Oh, Stan Lee," and it's like, "No, come on! Like, what about the other guy? Come on."
Well, Steve,
You know?
Steve never wanted to be in front of the cameras. Or
that's the problem, isn't it?
anything.
Yeah.
Whereas Stan didn't really want to, not really, but he could talk. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't mind it in the end, because he was ambassador in the end of Marvel, until he died. He was still been in the movies and stuff.
Would have been nice to have met him one day. It's a shame, isn't it? We'll never get that chance.
He's someone that I think a lot of people would probably like to have met.
Well, did you ever watch The Big Bang Theory? Because he's in that.
Yeah.
And he's bloody hilarious in that. Like, you know, like when you watch him in the films, you always give that sort of corny sort of acting, didn't he? Like, he always played like, or most cases, he played the bungling character that didn't know what was going on. But when you see him in like Big Bang Theory, he's actually pretty good. Like when you see him in that.
I think the first thing I saw him in, Lee, was Mallrats. Like the first.
Oh, Mallrats! Christ, now you're going back. Yeah,
I think that was the first.
Ben
I think it was
Affleck.
the first one. I saw him in, like, he done here and there and bit, but that was his first role where you close your eyes, his voice is so iconic.
Yeah.
And that's a great film if no one's watched it in the comments, the Mallrats, because he actually explains some of the characters. He explains the Hulk. He explains Spider-Man, like how they're him. Different egos of him, like Spider-Man was him when he was in school. The Hulk is him because he's his internal rage and stuff. It's really interesting to watch it. And he done a great documentary. I think it's called Superheroes and Villains or something, with Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
It's such a great documentary. They're just sitting there and they're talking. It's some years ago now, because obviously Kevin Smith, as you know, worked for Marvel and did Daredevil and whoever else Kevin Smith,
and then he sold out and messed up Masters of the Universe. Yeah, we know. I used to like him as well. I don't anymore. I think he's a bit of a twat. But there's a bit in Big Bang Theory where they're meeting Stan Lee to have a signing, right? And at their local comic book shop. And there's a bit that made me laugh when I first watched it, because you don't necessarily notice it until someone points it out, right? And Raj, one of the characters in it, points out, he goes, I'm going to ask him, why is it that all of his superheroes always have the same initial for their first and last name? And then he starts going through them all, right? And it's like, and do you know what? You don't notice how many there are until you watch that. And he does this twice in the same episode, where he names at least 10 each time. And it's like, Jesus, he really did that with a lot of characters. Like, it's crazy.
Peter Parker, Scott Summers, Cyclops.
Even with
Bruce,
their actual
Bruce Banner,
character names, Silver Surfer, you know, even when it comes to that, it's just always the same.
Silver
Yeah.
Surfer. Wow, what another great character.
Well, you heard what they're doing with that.
Don't.
Yeah, I know. When I heard it, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, do you never learn? Like, what is wrong with you, Marvel? Why don't you learn?"
It's the Silver Surfer story, proper story. It's such a cool story. How Galactus comes to his world. I don't know what the name of the world is because they look like humans, basically. In the original comic, they look like humans anyway. Comes to the planet. They barter. Silver Surfer's like, "I'll become your herald." Herald? No, not herald. Yeah, herald. I think that's what he calls him in it. Oh, anyway, I'll become your herald. And I'll leave your planet alone. But he doesn't. He fucks it up. And he turns on. It's a great story.
Yeah.
But Galactus is definitely something I'd like to see, but I don't know how they do that really well.
Have you ever seen the film Crimson Tide?
The submarine one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. Yeah, there's a reason why I mention it. Is, do you remember the part where two of them start fighting in the canteen? And then Denzel Washington says, "What was you fighting over?" And he goes, "Oh, stupid, I'd rather not say." And he's like, "No, come on, what?" And he tells him that they're arguing over who was the best Silver Surfer.
Oh, God. Ages, Lee.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Gene Hackman, isn't it? Gene Hackman. And, is that Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington, yeah.
Wow.
But the guy that's having the fight, I forget his name, but he's in a lot of films.
Mm-hmm.
He's that sort of Latino sort of guy that used to be in everything. I can't think of what his name is.
Okay.
Loads of stuff. He always used to play bit parts and stuff. He plays. You remember in The Rock? He's the one of the last guys to die on the SEAL team. He's the one looking after him.
He goes up.
That's it. Yeah.
That guy's in loads of stuff.
Yeah, he's the one who's arguing with this other guy, a big guy, like really tall guy, over who's the best Silver Surfer. Like, you know, and then Denzel Washington points out to him, "Come on, there's only one Silver Surfer, and that's the original Silver Surfer." You know,
I don't even know what his real name is. The Silver Surfer, the original one. I don't even know what he's called.
Oh, Christ!
I've not heard it in ages.
Do you know what? I've seen that film so many times. I know it, but hang on, I will look it up because there was two.
Yeah,
you know, one was around for a long time, but the second one I think become more popular, and that's where the discrepancy comes. Hang on, who were the first two Silver Surfers?
God, dear, because he's old Silver Surfer.
I just think it's funny because you wouldn't get references like that in new films. You only get that in old stuff, you know. It's just such a clever scene, you know. Like it's showing an XO splitting up two guys because they're arguing over who's the best Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
on a submarine. That's it. Kirby's surfer he's on about.
Surfer.
Yeah, and basically Denzel says to him, "Well, come on, the guy's an idiot. We all know who the best one is. It's Kirby. Like it's the Kirby surfer." So you know he agrees with him. So yeah, because the other one's saying that the hang on, does it say who the other one was? No, it doesn't name the other one. But the other one says that he prefers the other one, and that's what they're arguing over.
Of course. I have to watch that now.
Yeah. Yeah, Jack Kirby. Yeah.
Jack Kirby, you look at his list of characters.
He was the one who illustrated him, yeah. So that's what it's all over, yeah.
Talking about I was thinking in my head of comics. I have actually got, Lee, but I haven't got them to hand. Some of those newer Batman 89s, which have taken forever to come out.
Well, I picked up issue 2. I've got issue 3 on order. I'll tell you, they're a joke, DC. Like, they wonder why they're losing money. Like, they're taking 3 months to release comics that should be monthly.
It was the same as the Batman White Knight, which is, I said to you, to get the great story where Batman's framed for killing the Joker. He's in prison, but the Joker's actually alive. And then Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, is in the comic as Batman. And Dick Grayson works for the Gotham Special Task Force sort of thing. Great
Yeah, I
comic.
remember you
They took
saying.
them forever to come out. Like they the way.
It's because DC are useless now. Like they're literally they're running themselves into the ground. I mean, it's not just them because Marvel are just as bad. I mean, especially when it comes to the cinematic universe. I mean, look what they're doing there. But yeah, I mean, that number 3 was meant to come out. I think it was 2
when
months
was we
ago.
talking? When we were talking, was it January, Feb? No.
Well,
When was
issue two was meant to come out in February, I think it was, and it didn't release until April.
That's right. That's right.
And issue 3 was meant to be originally March.
But that's
and I was still waiting for it now, right? In fact, the guy that I've pre-ordered it off on eBay, he has to keep messaging me saying it's still not come through yet. And I'm like, yeah, I know, mate. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's okay, don't worry. You know, and he's already said to me it's due next month. I think it's 15th, maybe next month. But he keeps messaging me saying, you know, he asked me at one point, do you want your money back? And I was like, no, I'll wait, mate. I'm in no rush.
No, yeah.
You know, so
it's worth waiting for because the Mandalorian comics are nice.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, well, it ain't your fault, mate. Like, if DC ain't making them, what can you do? Like, it's not your fault. But it's no way to run a comic book business. And they wonder, right, why all these kids now are buying manga and anime stuff. Because, you know, anime at the moment is a big portion of the comic book market right now.
It's massive.
In fact, most comic book shops stock more of that than they do the American stuff now.
Well, like, I've got quite a few. I've got the Jujutsu Kaisen ones and My Hero Academia, and I've got a few other ones, you know, Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul's another great anime manga lead that you'll probably enjoy if you watched it. The TV show, it's actually really good. But there's so many, like, just easy to get, you know, like JoJo Bizarre. I love JoJo Bizarre. There's so many great, you know, mangas that you can just go and get the story. Like Bleach, like I think Billy was saying is like 18 seasons or something. There's loads of books for Bleach, like, you know, Demon Slayer.
I want to get back into Gundam Wing because I remember I started watching it when it first came about. But
Gundam Wing is like for Gundam, it's probably my favorite.
I'm actually looking at the moment on eBay at a vintage Gundam Wing toy.
Oh, God,
it does look smart, man.
So
I'll tell you what, I've got something coming. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
But when it comes, I will take a photo and I'll send it to you. You're going to love it. All I'm going to say is it's Japanese. That's all I'm saying. You will love it. Like, and it's old. It's old.
Oh, that's cool then, because there's so, like, even Legelian there, which is another great, like, that's old anime, but I'm watching now. What am I watching? What Gundam was I watching? 00. One of the older ones I've been watching on Crunchyroll or Funimation, whatever, because Crunchyroll, Funimation, one of them's closed now.
You got to watch Crunchyroll though, because when they dub it with English, they're taking a piss, aren't they? And they're putting all that fucking DEI shit into it.
Yeah, so you got. So I try. Once I watch, normally what I do, my rule of thumb is with some of the older Gundam, because I don't like all of them.
Yeah,
I'll watch a couple of episodes. If I like the story in essence, like all the drawings and what's going on, some of them are quite violent for like a cartoon. That you see quite a bit of gore. So once I see a bit of that, I'm like, yeah, cool. Then I'll buy it. And normally the dub you get on the DVD is way better than what you get on Crunchyroll, Funimation.
Well, to be honest with you, it's that case normally with everything. I mean, it's like, for example, when you look at some of these films I'm picking up on Blu-ray, you look at them online, they never look as good. You know, they always look much better when you pick them up on disc. You can't beat that.
No.
You know, in general.
It's, you know, as well, I'm starting to look at some of the Gundam laser discs, okay, but they're all dubbed. There's hardly any dub on them. They're just all Japanese, but just because they look so cool. Especially Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing, I used to get home from secondary school, 95, 96. So I was like 13, 14, and I was watching it on Toonami. on Sky or cable, wherever we had, and the Gundam Wing 2 movies, like, yeah, just the Gundams themselves, the different ones.
Well, see, you got Gundam Wing, and then you got another one I want to get is the Guyver series. But if I remember right, they did 2 series, didn't they? They did one, and then they remade it, didn't they?
So the original one on the video is straight from the comics. Yep.
Oh,
Straight
Pixel
from the
Plus,
comics.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, hello, fella.
Pixel Plus.
The original videos are straight from the comics. Yep.
Yeah.
Where the last episode, it kind of just dies. You don't know what happens. It kind of just leaves it, which always pissed everyone off because the writer never finished the stories. All right. The re-release in 2001, I think it is, or 2002, is based on the original story, but there's way more to it. Way more violent. The drawings. Czech Republic have scored. Fucking hell.
Wow, did not see that coming.
Yeah, nor did I. The drawings are way better, and you see more of Gundam 3. Gundam 3 is one of the best looking Gundams. The dark suit one, not the black
Gundam?
suit.
Do you mean Guyver?
Sorry, Guyver 3. Sorry, Guyver 3.
Yeah, that's the black Guyver, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's a way better suit.
It's a smart suit. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Proper.
Yeah.
But even that finished a bit weird.
Yeah.
That TV show. It's such a good IP that no one's picked up. I love, like, we both like the movie. Well, we like the second movie anyway, rather than the first one. Yeah. But it's all we've got. I'm glad we've got them. As much as they're both a bit cheesy, I'm glad we've got them because there ain't nothing else.
Dark Hero is pretty good, I think. And then when you consider, this is what I keep saying, like when we do no late fees, right? When you look at the new crap that's coming out, even the bad films of the 80s and 90s are better than the shit they're releasing now. Come on. Like, I will happily sit there and watch a bad movie from the 80s and 90s. Like, if someone said to me, do you want to watch Guyver Dark Hero, or would you rather watch the new Marvels? I'd be like, give me Dark Hero any day. Like, you know, it's no contest.
No, and you know, when I watch Slimehouse or Theo, some of the films he shows I've never seen, and when I go on like YouTube,
well, he's a big fan of Arena. I love that film. I've got that. Yeah. Arena's a great film.
Arena's great. Yeah,
and Robot Jocks. He likes Robot Jocks as well. Again, another great film. I love Robot Jocks.
Which is why I loved Pacific Rim. I know it's got no bearing on.
No, but it was heavily influenced. Yeah.
What like that film, it gets a lot of shit. I do like that film though. I know it gets shit on so bad, but I really do love the robots in it, and that you got 2 people doing it, and
but I only like the first one. The second one was terrible.
The second one just seemed to angle itself for kids when it didn't need to, because I felt the first film was dark in the fact that loads of people died. The brother got killed by the kaiju. I just thought it was great.
Speaking of kaiju, did you see the comic that Scott gave Tetley? He got a nice old looking Godzilla.
Nice, isn't
it? Yeah, great artwork on it.
There's a kaiju. I think I shared it, and I think you laughed at me. There's a kaiju anime, a newer one where it's human, and I haven't seen it all yet. And he's got the power to become a monster from Godzilla, like similar powers, and he fights other gods, like other kaijus. Like it's pretty
called something like Kaiju Number 8 or something like that.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's different.
I've seen stuff for it. I haven't.
It's not bad.
I actually saw collectibles for it long before I saw anything else. Yeah, I know what you're on about. Yeah, it is one. Do you remember Armitage 3? Now, I remember it come out on VHS over here. It was done by Pioneer. Very early anime.
Yeah.
And it was out, at that time, really, we only knew manga until this come along, And I know it come out on VHS, and I know it's on DVD in America, but I don't think we've ever got it, because whenever I look for it, it's only region 1.
I've not seen it on DVD in this country.
Yeah, it's a shame. That was a good series. That
like now you're getting Malcross, which is basically Jetfire from Transformers toy, but coloured differently.
Yeah, I know.
basically.
Yeah,
But that's a great manga, anime,
yeah,
whatever. And that's old. That is really old, Malcross, because it's 3 animes merged into one. Because when American TVs were going to Japan to buy TV shows, they wanted it to be 48 episodes long or whatever it was, and most of the animes were like 20 episodes, so they'd
yeah.
merge 3 TV shows together to get one series, and the characters would be different and the robots would be different. But Malcross is something now that's massive, and it's not even, we ain't even got the full story, because it's, like I said, it's a merge of different ones to make
Do
one.
you ever remember an episode? And I'm pretty certain it was Dominion Tank Police,
Oh,
where police officer gets killed or gets really badly hurt, and they stick him into a robot suit, and basically the only part of him that's still human, I think, is his tongue, maybe, and that's it.
Are you talking about Genocyber?
Maybe.
So
He's like a massive sort of blue-looking robot, isn't he?
yeah, that's
And there's a really messed up bit where there's a woman sort of like rubbing herself up and down on his leg, sort of thing. It's really, really strange.
that is Genocyber. It's part of the cyberpunk collection.
Cyberpunk, that's it.
Because you had Cyber City, Genocyber, and it actually might be AD Police, actually.
No, actually, yes, it is. It is AD Police.
It is AD
You're
Police.
right, it is. It is
AD Police was wicked. That's like proper. That's meant to be coming out on Blu-ray. I don't know when.
I hope so. I need to get Wicked City because that's out on Blu-ray. I need to get that. That's really good.
They released Monster City and Wicked City
on the same disc. Yeah.
The company's called All for One Anime, or all One Anime. I'll send you the link, because I got both my Cyber Cities from them. They did 2 Blu-ray Cyber Cities. I bought them both. They're both the same, but one's got the American music, which is shit, and the English rock music on it, which is way better.
Do you know what I've noticed, right? We were saying about how Japanese stuff's become more popular in comic book shops, and here we are talking about Japanese stuff more than it's interesting, that, isn't it? But do you remember Madball 34? Do you remember that?
Madball was one of the first videos, right? Sets I bought, because he was just going around shagging all sorts.
That's it, yeah.
Literally.
And he's massive, and he's got a little tiny partner, isn't he?
And his partner was straight laced, but Madball was taking bungs from people.
That's it.
He was helping all sorts of people in it.
Yeah.
But that was the first set of videos I bought.
Yeah. A mate of mine had them.
Violent. They were violent.
Really violent. Yeah.
They were violent, because
back then there wasn't much of that about either. So when you watched it, it was like, wow, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that was Madball's wicked. Again, that's not. I've not seen that on DVD. It's 1-1.
Yeah. I mean, this thing was really messed up back then, because some of the stuff you saw in some of them early cartoons. I mean, I remember, like with Wicked City, for example, there's a bit, you don't actually see it properly, but do you remember when they captured the mutant woman, right? And there's a bit where they've got her chained up, and then you see silhouettes, and you can clearly see that there's 3 guys like having their way with her in the silhouette.
So those early mangas, they were not for kids.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Like, you could clearly see that, like, literally in the silhouette, every hole was a goal, sort of thing. Like, you know?
It's that scene where the woman turns into the spider.
Yeah.
In Monster City, no, in Wicked City. I always get confused with them bloody.
Yeah, I think it's Wicked City, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay.
Well, do you remember the bit with the little old guy that kind of looks a bit like Yoda without ears?
Yeah.
Remember, he's got that big bird on him, and she's meant to be a prostitute. I mean, she gets her jugs out, and then she sort of starts melting and absorbing him, don't she?
Yeah, she absorbs him. That character, that guy, he's that kind of drawing of that figure, that man, whatever his name is. He's like a Ninja Scroll. He's another guy very similar to Ninja Scroll, like an old man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like I remember when I watched them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this ain't for kids, mate. But seeing Fist North Star, seeing the guy Crying Freeman,
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. To me, was more Western because it wasn't as
it is. Yeah.
it wasn't as edgy like Akira. When I saw Akira, that as much as now I watch it now and I'm actually bored of watching it because it's so long-winded.
Yes, it takes a long time getting where it's going. I've got to admit, yeah.
But back then, when you saw Canada on his bike, and then when he gets the laser rifle, and I was just like, yeah, this is proper.
Have you seen them bikes where people have actually made them?
Yeah, they're. I mean, yeah, they're
smart,
they're proper. I love them. It's such that film and that one scene with Canada sliding on the road like on the bike. A lot of films have copied that.
Yeah.
Copied that because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else like when like Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that.
Never watched it, but I remember it.
Oh, Vampire Hunter D is wicked. Number 2, I didn't enjoy as much, but it's still good.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I saw a vampire, which is a human vampire, as in the fact that he's got all the powers of a vampire, none of the
weaknesses.
Weaknesses.
So it's a bit like Blade, a bit like a Daywalker.
This is before Blade for me. Like I didn't know Blade that like at all back in the early 80s. I didn't know Blade, so I knew D as being a vampire, being Dracula's son, with his mum being human. It was awesome. Go-Go 13. Go-Go 13 is such a good manga.
Not one I've seen. Not one I've seen.
Lee, honestly, that is such a good film. Like
the thing is, like, have you noticed that this is the problem? A lot of these early ones, though, they're not coming out over it. That's the problem. You got to go back and get the VHS of a lot of these. That's the problem.
The problem with Go-Go 13 is a licensing thing because for years,
that's what it is with most.
DVD. Yeah, you can get it on DVD, but it's very hard to get on DVD, or you'll pay like decent money for a video, £2-3 all day long. But it's such a good.
I mean, I know it's not comic, but I mean, good example the other day. I've been trying to find the 80s version of The Blob.
Oh, okay.
It's not released over it.
Oh.
You cannot get it in this country. The only way you can get it, I think you can import it, but I can't tell if it's English dubbed or not. I can't tell because it's a European version. However, you can get it on VHS, and because of that, you will pay what I think is silly money for VHS because you will pay about £7 or £8 for it because they know that you can't get it on DVD.
Yes, yes.
So,
and that is the problem with some of those films.
Yeah,
is that they know you can't get them.
Yeah,
they never got released on Blu-ray because obviously Sony owned Blu-ray, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
That's always a struggle.
Which is kind of funny because I don't want to go too much down the rabbit hole because we are meant to be a comic stream. But when you look at it, I mean, it's almost like Sony having revenge, isn't it? Because Sony did Betamax and JVC did VHS, and we know how that ended up.
Yep.
But then DVD was, I don't know who it was who did DVD, but, obviously Blu-ray was Sony. It was almost like they had their revenge. They got their own back,
Well, the other company owned HD DVDs.
That's right.
Hence they come out, but
it
never took off because the thing was...
PlayStation had a Blu-ray player. They
correct.
Were clever.
From the start. Same as the PS2 obviously outsold the Dreamcast because the PS2
had a DVD player.
DVDs.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast apparently was going to have DVD, but they wanted to get it out to market it. But they played VCDs in it. They played video CDs.
That's right. Yeah, PlayStation 1 did as well.
Yep.
I had an adapter that used to go in the back. You could watch VCDs in it. That's how I watched Blade and Matrix. I watched them way before they were out on DVD.
I watched Replacement Killers, if you remember that film with Chow Yun-fat.
Great film.
Which is basically like The Killers or one of his old John Woo films, but just in the US sort of thing.
Do you know what? I often think that something like that would have made a good comic, Replacement Killers. That would have been a really good comic, that.
Good story.
In fact, one of your favourite films that I personally think is a shit film would have been
Hard Boiled. Hard
Yeah,
boiled.
would have been a good comic.
Have you played the game No, Stranglehold. No,
No, there is a game called Stranglehold, so it probably is that you're thinking of.
Italian Fat. It's
Yeah,
basically
it's a John
hard-boiled
Woo
too.
game, isn't it?
It's hard boiled too.
Yeah,
He's tequila in it.
I think I've got it. I'm sure I have
It's
got
not
it.
bad. It's not. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing to write home about. But it's basically hard boiled too.
Well, I heard that the cutscenes are meant to be pretty good in it.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I bought it when it come out, but I never really played it.
I'm sure I've got it. I'm sure I have.
It plays like Max Payne, where you've got bullet time,
Yeah.
where you can just press the bullet time and you're flying around like this. If you remember in Max Payne, you were doing that a lot.
Well, the Max Payne game was good. So let's not talk about the film. That was
I never watched the film because I heard so
You-
many
you
bad
didn't
things.
miss
About it.
that.
I've
It
never
was
seen
shit. It was terrible.
Great story.
Mm.
But just literally yeah. But no,
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I think I've pretty much showed what I've got, because anything else, like I say, I can't show you my Spider-Man 2099 at the moment because I haven't actually. They're put away at the moment.
The good thing about them ones, just before we finish up soon anyway, but there's not many of them. I think there's 40. No.
Yeah, there's not many. You're right. It's a
40
short series.
Is it 40?
It's either 40. It's either 40 or 50 something. It's a very short run. Yeah.
It didn't sell very well because it was very adult. Because
did you know that they've just recently restarted the 2099 run? Have you noticed that?
Yes, because
Since
of
the film. Yeah.
Because in the film, they portray him very aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now in the comic, he kills.
I was going to say he's quite aggressive in the comics.
He does bite. He does bite because there's a scene.
Yeah.
In the movie where he's like a vampire. It's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil it for people who don't know the story because it's worth watching. But it's a crossover with Spider-Man 2099, with Hulk 2099, and Punisher 2099. Now, the Punisher 2099 is also very. I don't say it's good. It's cool because there's a couple of things in it that just wicked. His helper makes any CCTV. Whenever you see the Punisher, his face is just a skull. So whenever they try and catch him on CCTV, it's just a skull all the time.
Yeah.
Cool. But and that's a short run. All the 2099s, X-Men 2099, Hulk 2099, Punisher 2099, Spider-Man, they didn't go very long.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's the ones that sticks out because obviously he become part of the multiverse. Or the Spider-Verse, sorry.
I mean, this is the thing. I remember when I was a kid, I remember seeing the 2099. I always thought it was an interesting look. I mean, it wasn't as good as the original look of Spider-Man, obviously. And because one of my favourite looks of Spider-Man, I know a lot of people say it isn't their favourite, but my favourite is actually the Todd McFarlane look.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, the big eyes. I love that look. Like, I know a lot of people don't, but I really like that look.
Well, let's not forget, he drew Venom.
Yeah, well, yeah. And Carnage. And the thing is, what I liked also with him, if you notice with a lot of his artwork, he actually treats Spider-Man like he's a spider. There's a lot of crouching and crawling.
Yeah.
You didn't see quite as much of that with other artists.
No.
They had it to a certain degree, but I mean, one of the things that Todd McFarlane does a lot is it's that famous crouch he always does, where he's on his toes, his knees are pointing out, and then he's got his hand down in front, and then he's doing that with his web. That famous crouch, that's a Todd McFarlane thing, isn't it? Like when you see that, you know it's him that's drawn that. Like, yeah, I always preferred that look, but I got to admit, when I saw the 2099 look, I was like, now that is interesting because it is very different. They did really take a risk with it.
It's a good story. Like they don't tell you in the movie how he gets his powers. But it explains to you in the comic. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The artwork's really good. I mean, I forget how many I've picked up, but I've picked up a few so far.
Yeah, they're not like expensive, but they're like they will.
The first one is a bit pricier than the others, but yeah.
Because the first ones you have to remember as well, because the movie shows the first comic. I'm Miguel O'Hara, and it shows you his comic. That's why people want it as well. because
Well,
it is.
I picked up the first issue from Scott at the Retro Realm.
I see. That's good.
It's
That's
got
good.
like a red metallic border around it.
Yeah,
Hasn't
it's foil. It's lovely.
it?
It's
Yeah.
such a. I think I've got a couple of them because I think I picked them up different places.
I'll be honest though, there's a reason why I haven't read it. I'll tell you why. Because that one I picked up from Scott is so nice.
Oh no, don't read it then.
I don't want to open it.
It's old. That generation of comics are not. They don't hold up very well.
I want to try and get another one to read.
Yeah.
Because I've got to be honest, that one's so good. I was almost tempted to get it graded. It's,
wow.
It's really clean, like honestly.
That's nice.
So, yeah. So I might have to find another one just so I can read it. But yeah, really good.
The last thing I'll show, and then I think we're skedaddle. It's not really comic related, but I was in CEX, and I've already got this game, but this is in way better condition than mine. And this was literally £10. I never got on with this game, but I love the front cover. Is Urban Strike.
Oh, I've got that. Yeah, great game.
It's such a nice, it's really nice condition. So
I recently finished off the place, like picking up the PlayStation one. So I've got all of them now, I think.
Urban and Soviet.
Yeah, you got Soviet and Nuclear, haven't you, on the PS1?
Nuclear, yes.
Yeah.
Urban Strike's that one.
Soviet's one you got there. So you got three on the Mega Drive. You got Jungle,
Desert, and
Urban, and then on the PlayStation you got Nuclear and
Soviet.
Soviet.
Yeah, there's also on the Mega CD, but we didn't get it in this country. But I've got it as a reproduction because I wanted to play it. It was all free on all the Mega Drive games on the Mega CD.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah,
great. It's the best way of playing an Airwolf game without being Airwolf. I felt, you know what I mean? Because I still need to get Z-Wolf. Actually, I keep meaning to buy that on the Amiga.
Well, you could always get Crossfire. Crossfire was an Airwolf.
I've got Crossfire on the which is basically
Airwolf.
But PAL territory. Obviously, we never saw that other than the NES version of Airwolf, which is the worst thing ever.
Well, that's the good thing about having an EverDrive because I've got Airwolf on that. So when I put it on, it does play the music, you know.
Yeah, the Super Airwolf, the Japanese Mega Drive version, plays the music and it's got the pictures of the characters.
It's got the pictures. Yeah, that's it.
Whereas the other one hasn't.
Yeah.
Well, no. But I think that's gonna do us, Lee. What you got coming from you, mate? Anything else other than today? You had the upload of the 4K Crow, and you've had your revival vid, which was awesome.
Yeah, funny enough, actually. I mean, Pixel Plug said hi. I actually met Pixel Plug at Revival.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because I didn't know what he looked like. So when he came walking out and he said who he was, I was like, oh, that's, you know, now I've got a face to the channel, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So, because I mean, he's always in the chat and that, isn't he? So, yeah, so I met him now. But so I'm kind of toying with a few ideas for my main channel on what I'm going to put out because I need to do a Star Wars video game pursuit video because I've got a few bits. I've been like building up a few bits over months.
Yep.
So I need to do one of them. I also have been collecting hit squads. So I need to do a hit squad video at some point, which I haven't done yet. But on my collectibles channel now, I've picked up a few bits collectible wise.
Nice.
So I really need to do some videos on there. One of them's a RoboCop unboxing.
Nice.
But there's also something else that comes from the same RoboCop universe that's very special that I've got to do an unboxing on. I've had it for months, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But when I do that,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's something else. That is. But yeah, I've got a few bits. I'll be honest. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, at the moment, I'm probably buying more films and collectibles than I am actually games because if I'm honest, most games I want, I've got.
Yep.
You know, with the exception of obviously a couple of Dreamcast games I picked up at Revival, which were quite nice ones. But most games, if I'm honest, that I want, I've got. So just lately, I'm more picking up comics, you know, films, collectibles. So Yeah, there'll be plenty coming. I've just got to figure out what I'm doing and when. Got so much stuff I need to do. It's just figuring out when, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
what about you?
I don't know. I got a video. I'm doing a live stream. I think this. No, hang on. I'm doing a video with Retro Crisis. I think it's a pre-recorded video. I think it is. Can't remember now. I'm sure it's a pre. We're going to do like a. Well, I don't want to spoil it for him because he's going to start sharing it. But it's to do with 16-bit era. He asked me to be involved, and I was like, "Yeah, cool, no worries." With a few other. He asked me recently to do that, so I got that. Pickup wise, I've got more things, but it's obviously I'm not really in a situation where I can sit up properly. I mean, I'm up the sofas. One of the sofas is here. I'm sitting on the cushion, and I'm just sitting here with the TV behind me. So I'm not really much of a way of doing lots of vids. But
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, once I'm back from holiday, I'll be on the grind, get everything sorted out in the house, and then in my bedroom, me and my wife's bedroom, the room's really big, so I'm gonna have a small little gaming setup, like a Kallax and 2 TVs and stuff in there. So then I can start doing some videos and until the games room in the garden gets sorted out, which will hopefully be not too long.
well, I've got to be honest. At some point, I want to try and fit in a no late fees because it's not far away for Alien Romulus, and I want to get an Alien stream in before that.
Yeah, cool. So like I was saying,
I would like to get Paul on because Paul's a massive fan of Aliens, same as most of us are. But Paul, you know, that's his main franchise. But I don't know if it's going to be possible. We'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I'm away from the 6th of July.
Yeah.
And from now to then, I'm busy, but
because Romulus, I think, comes out in August, doesn't it? Alien Romulus.
So I could probably do it end of July because the weekend. I'm trying to work out dates. Well, trying to work out dates in my head.
I'm hearing good things about Romulus. I tell you, like the way that I think it's linking, because I've heard that it links to Alien and Aliens perfectly, and if it's going there, I think it's going to go. It's going to be pretty special.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah.
We need a good Aliens film, man.
Yeah, it's got to be better. I mean, at this point, they've made more bad ones than they have good, haven't they? So, yeah.
But no, yeah. Right. So that's it, mate. Let me just get the old. Thank you to everyone in the comments.
Yeah.
It's been good. I'm just going to get up here. So you'll see me soon. You'll see Lee even sooner, I'm sure. But just whatever you do, give second chance to comics. And we'll see you soon. Ciao.
Bye.